going to say, can you hear it? That one? No one will be on there. I just want to. Test, test, test. Test, test. Don Quixote.
They weren't happy when you were coming round. They genuinely, we were there before you were the Hereford turning up. They said, "Oh, so we're going to put them out there on Friday night before Hereford turn up." They hated them. I know. Oh, we've had some right ding dongs from King Kong. There's a
King's Lynn?
fat guy called Chris Vincent, and he's absolute twat.
Good afternoon and welcome to Edgar Street, Hereford for Kettering Town on the road against Hereford FC. Live here on Poppy's TV audio. With me this afternoon is Matt Spearman. Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon, Paul. Thank you for the warm welcome, and what a lovely ground to be at.
Yeah, one of the old traditional grounds and a super stadium. Only if we had something like this to play on. The pitch looks fantastic. And the Kettering fans are opposite where we are. Let's go through the teams for you straight away. Kettering Town lineup like this. In goal and captain is Paul White. 2, Gary Storer. 3, James Brighton. 4, Luke Graham. 5, making his debut, Jay Williams, the loanee from Northampton Town. 6, and back from being cup-tied, is Mike McGrath. 7, Daniel Enty. 8, Aaron O'Connor. 9, Connor Kennedy. 10, Joel Carter. And 11 is Marcus Kelly. Your subs this afternoon for Kettering are 12, Lyndon Meikle. 14, Ben Mills. 15, Sam Cartwright. 16, new signing Trey Mitford. He came from Bedford Town, among others. We'll talk about him throughout. And 17, the Kettering Angel, Brett Solken. Hereford in goal, Brandon Hall. 2, Kieran Thomas. 3, Jack Bodram. 4, Jacob Jagger Kane. 5, Jordan Gwilleen Liberd. 6, Josh Gowling. 7, Peter Vincenti. 8, Tom Owen Evans. 9, Rowan Libard. 10, Rhys Dyche. And 11, Jordan Nicholson. Tommy O'Sullivan, Mike Simmons, Jason Pope, Kyle Finn and Brad Ash are the Bulls substitutes this afternoon. Referee is Dean Watson, and his officials are Tom Elliott and Alex Kelly.
Yeah, certainly a you say strong squad there for Kettering. We've heard good things about Jay Williams on loan from Northampton Town for an initial 1-month loan. He's made 10 appearances for the Cobblers over the last couple of seasons. He is a product of their academy. He did receive the Academy Player of the Season award in 2018-19, and I've certainly heard a few people mention his name and say how impressive he is. So let's hope that him and Luke Graham link up well in defence and keep out Hereford this afternoon. And as you say, Paul, Trey Mitford is on the bench. He's a recent signing from Bedford. He's certainly had a handful of other teams as well, including Hanwell, Beaconsfield, Hayes and Yeddins, Staves as well. And he scored 6 goals this season, 2 of them against Corby in that respective league there. And you know, he's a tall player. He's more of a target man. So if he does make an appearance, it'll be interesting to see if it's to bolster an attack or if it's to do an all-round performance. But as you say, we've still got a few familiar faces there with Marcus Kelly and Gary Storer, who have certainly had a more positive season compared to, well, the majority of the Kettering squad out there this afternoon.
Before kick-off this afternoon, there will be a minute's applause for Kieran Joyce, a 16-year-old academy member that passed away in the week. Tragic news for the Edgar Street Club, and we'll all be respecting that. So there will be a minute's silence. Will be on the referee's whistle. So there will be nothing from us for that 1 minute. Terrible, terrible news for the football community in that young Kieran Joyce has passed away. And we send their best wishes to Hereford and to Kieran's family and relatives. Hereford themselves, they had a 5-2 win last week here at Edgar Street against Truro in the FA Cup. I shan't mention what happened to us, but you know what happened. And in the league, they've unbeaten at home. They beat Gateshead 2-1. They drew with Boston 0-0 and Brackley 1-1. And on the opening day of the season, drew 2-2 with Spenamore. They've lost to Kings Lynn, they've beaten Blythe away, they've beaten Gloucester away, and lost to Guiseley and Chester on their travels. So home form is the paramount interest for the Bulls season so far. And of course, Kettering have two former Bulls playing for them in Luke Graham, who along with Steve Kinnenborough, joint caretaker manager, will be speaking to Steve after the game, and that will be on our highlights package later this evening hopefully. And also Luke Graham played for Hereford along with Mike McGrath, so they are welcome in return to Edgar Street. Not as the attendance last time was 4,500. Of course, it was when Hereford had won the league and were going great guns. I don't think there's 4,500 in here today, but there must be about 2,000. I think
it's still going to be a great attendance, isn't it, Paul? You know, compared to some of the grounds we go to, and just looking opposite us here, we've got about 40-50 Kettering fans at the moment, most of them standing, a couple sitting down in the two-tier stand opposite us, which is great to see as the mascots lining up in the tunnel area with their flags waiting for both sets of players to come out. Interesting, Paul, on the bench or not on the bench, Nimley or Hodge, so no sign of them.
Yeah, nor Seba either. I'll try and find out later what if anything has happened to those players, but they're not in the squad this afternoon. Scars, of course, is still injured from that tackle at Sutton Coldfield, so he's not in the side. I've heard it's going to be about 10 days before he can return to the squad, so he should be available for the home game against Spenamore. So that's good news for him. And let's hope that Steve Kinnenborough and Luke Graham can turn Kettering's fortunes around. It's going to be a very difficult game against a very good club, very good home form, and anything today will be a Brucey bonus. And also I'm sure Steve Kinnenborough will be livening up the Poppies team, certainly after that Sutton Coldfield disaster on Tuesday. I was going to say disaster on Tuesday against Sutton Coldfield Town. We've got to forget that now and get on with what happens next. Of course, all applications for the vacant manager's job have to be in by, I think it is October the 4th, so it'll be a little while before anything is announced. And I'm sure everyone will have patience, and let's hope this time we can get somebody who's going to generate this Kettering Town side and keep us in the division we've fought so hard to get into. As I came into Edgar Street today, one of the stewards said to me, it's a tough league, isn't it? And indeed it is, but I don't think we've been outclassed really in this division, as we keep saying, against Darlington maybe, and the first half against Kings Lynn, but it gives us a chance to start our season again. And we're here going to give you the full action for this game. Remember, on October the 12th, it's Spenamore at home, followed by the 19th, Altrincham, and then away a new fixture for me. It's Curzon Ashton away. And forthcoming events, even if I can get my words out, my teeth right, in the clubhouse. It's October the 11th, Legends Night, £10 at Latimer Park with Kettering's Sean Suddards, Gordon Livesley and Jim Cond.
The players are making their way out of the tunnel here at Edgar Street. Kettering are wearing their red kits, red and black shirts, red shorts, and red socks. And Hereford are in their home kit of white shirts, black shorts, and black socks, as well as they line up in front of us. Captain today, Paul White, has the captain arms band as the mascots shake hands with the referee, who is Dean Watson, and his assistants, Tom Elliott and Alex Kelly, and they are now making their way down the line. All shaking hands, all positive, all nicey-nices at the moment, but hopefully in a couple of minutes' time the two teams will do battle, and Kettering will hopefully do a little better than they did 2 seasons ago, where they conceded very early on in the game. That game where Hereford were crowned champions of the league. Kettering went on to the playoffs, and well, we don't need to say too much more about that. But Kettering out there today, hopefully feeling more rejuvenated. Certainly heard the tones of Steve Kinnenberg out on the pitch earlier on, getting the players motivated, warmed up. Looked like a few piggyback activities, not seen them before, but maybe a bit of team bond in there as well. And that's what Kettering need today. They need to be able to work as a team, work as one unit. You know, there's a lot on show today, a lot for these players out here who want a future for the Poppies. There's also the opportunity for Steve Kinnenberg, if that is something he wants to take on as manager of Kettering, whether he will be given that opportunity or if he'll apply for the job even. But it starts today for him, and he'll be just wanting a positivity from Kettering. So as we say, the game will be starting very shortly, but before that there will be a minute's applause for Kieran Joyce, an under-16s player for Hereford who tragically passed away earlier on in the week.
Yep, we're about to have that minute silent. Paul White, captain for the day, is in the middle there alongside Josh Gowling. At the moment Kettering are kicking from left to right. I think that's the way it's going to be, and we're going to take a minute here to have this applause, and everyone is standing up to do this, and we're going to join in. Well, there we go, impeccably observed by everybody in the stadium here at Edgar Street, and the team's now going to change ends, in fact. So Kettering will be kicking from right to left. They'll be kicking towards the empty stand here on our left-hand side. If you've been to Edgar Street, one stand currently being redeveloped, and they are going to be in the Stowford Press cider end, huddled there by Hereford, and Paul White getting some applause from the home fans, which is nice to see. Kettering then playing from right to left. I'll just quickly go through the Kettering Town team. In goal, Paul White. 2, Gary Storer. 3, James Brighton. 4, Luke Graham. 5, Jay Williams. 6, Mike McGrath. 7, Daniel Enty. 8, Aaron O'Connor. 9, Connor Kennedy. 10, Joel Carter. And 11, Marcus Kelly. Your subs are Meikle, Milnes, Cartwright, Mitford and Salkin. It's going to be Hereford to get us underway. And it's going to be Owen Evans on the ball. And the referee just checking both sides here and signaling to both goalkeepers. All the dignitaries still on the pitch, waiting for those to come off before we can get started. There's probably around 50 or 60 Kettering fans here on the far side that we can see. Still on the pitch, still waiting for them to go. And the referee's blown and we're away. It is Colleen LeBird putting a long ball for Steisch to chase. Paul White comes out of his goal mouth, collects it, trots towards the penalty spot. The number 10 going towards Paul White. Paul White, captain for the afternoon. He's in all green with his blue boot, and that wasn't a very good kick. It came off Stith, and he's onside, and away he comes here. Offside though,
has gone up.
And Paul White, actually, the shot came in. Paul White didn't know the flag was up and saved it with his foot, but initially it came off from Paul White, and wasn't a good kick by him. And lucky that he was offside. That was the first chance.
Well, certainly very lucky there, and I think the Hereford players are not too impressed there with Dean Watson, the referee this afternoon, asking exactly how that came about. But it's a let off there for Paul White, who will hopefully be able to refocus here and get that ball further down. Just initial looks of Jay Williams. I know he's 18 years old, but he certainly looks probably older than that.
Man mountain, isn't he?
Yeah, he's certainly a tall man, and I think he's going to have Rowan Liebird as the person he's going to be man marking, although he's certainly a tall figure next to Luke Graham as O'Connor gets the header there, and Hereford come away with the ball over the halfway line with Nicholson. Goes all the way back to their defence, and number 3. Then it's played long forward and finally does go out for a throw on the halfway line for Hereford. So Kettering just having a quick look at their lineup. Look like they're playing with 4 at the back, with Brighton on the left, with Graham and Williams in the middle, and Storer on the right hand side. Then you go into midfield, where you can see Marcus Kelly, you can see McGrath, looks like he's pushed further forward, Connor Kennedy and Carter. And then further forward, you've got NT and O'Connor as well. The ball with Brighton at the moment. Assistant puts his flag up to say a foul, and it is a foul on James Brighton, who does get straight back up. So a free kick for Kettering in their own half, and Paul White just gathers the ball, as Paul mentioned earlier on. Paul White, captain for the Poppies today. Hopefully he's going to make sure that Kettering keep or attempt to keep a clean sheet, something which we haven't seen for quite some time, as the ball goes long forward, trying to find Carter. It's lost in the middle of the park at the moment, and there's a long ball played by Liebird up into the air. Shouts of handball against Jay Williams, but he controls it. He plays it forward, trying to release O'Connor.
I think the handball actually came off Luke Graham rather than Jay Williams, who's just been fouled in the process. But Luke Graham, of course, Hereford United
captain
well, by all accounts, and a few years service. Speaking to him earlier, he's been looking forward to this, along with Mike McGrath, of course. Both played here at Edgar Street. Paul White taking the free kick. It goes towards Connor Kennedy, but Enty gets there. He gets beaten to it by Bodnam, the place in Turkey, but flips it forward towards O'Connor, beaten to it by Gowling.
That just came off Enty, didn't it? For a throw-in for Hereford on the far side, just in front of the Kettering fans. Not as many as there were 2 years ago, but as I said, they've travelled about 50, I think, from a quick.
It's a bit embarrassing, actually, Matt, when you can actually name the fans. I can see quite a few there, I know. But it's Hereford in control. The flick through from Owen Evans, chested down, cleared by Connor Kennedy, who's hoofs it into the main stand. And
has it gone in their main stand, or has it gone over the stand?
So over the stand, down the main road. So that'll be an interesting artefact for one of the pubs that are around here to display in the main bar if they don't get the ball back.
I mean, he's done well there. It's a 2-tier stand as well to get that over there.
So 0-0 here at Edgar Street. Listen to Poppy's TV audio with Matt Spearman and myself, Paul Cook. Sponsored by Elgood's Brewery. Yes, Elgood's our sponsor this year. Beers from Wisbeach in Cambridgeshire, available in the clubhouse as the ball tries to get to O'Connor, but well won by Gowling, and it is Hereford on the attack. The ball is flicked over to Vincenti, who's got a bit of space. If he can keep it in, he can keep it in. Paul White comes out, but headed out by Williams. Paul White may have called Williams, and
I was just trying to work out if actually Paul White even gave a shout there or not, but Williams was the first to the ball and he headed that straight out. Obviously Williams has come straight into the squad after the announcement of his signing on loan yesterday, so for him it's going to take some time getting used to the players around him.
Well, it's a corner, but there's a bit of a fracas at the moment between Colin LeBird and Kennedy.
Kennedy, yeah.
Referee having a word now with Kennedy and the Bulls player. Kennedy, of course, we know he's got a bit of a fiery temper. He's got more bookings than Max Bygraves did. And it is Going to be a corner to be taken. It's on our right-hand side here. Paul White looks like he's been impeded. In it comes towards the back post. It's very, very long. And Steisch, very deep. Yeah. Steisch couldn't do anything with that, and that harmlessly goes out for a goal kick.
Well, from where I'm standing, I can't see Steve Kinnenberg, but I certainly can hear him. As
I can hear a high-pitched sort of sound. I presume that's Steve.
Indeed, and he's obviously got a couple of ex-Corby players out there playing for Kettering today, players who he knew from managing Corby last season. We've got O'Connor and you've got Carter there, who he'll know how they play and their strengths, as O'Connor comes away with the ball, advancing forward into the Hereford half. He tries to thread the ball forward towards Carter, but unable to find it, and there is a Hereford player down on the floor at the moment. The referee stops the game as we await to see if he needs any assistance. I think it's number 5, Caroline Liebird, isn't it, who's on the floor.
Two Liebirds playing today. Number 9, Ryan Liebird, and number 5, Jordan Colleen Liebird. So Liebirds all around. There's the Liebirds, wasn't that a TV series? The Liebirds?
Up in Liverpool. Not quite Liverpool today, no. Although the lovely surroundings of Hereford, very beautiful.
Yep, good trip down. We came through Worcester, which prolonged us a bit, but took some of our fans about 4 hours as the drop ball comes in quickly and it flicked on, but headed out by Luke Graham. Marcus Kelly is the first to arrive there. It comes off Kelly though, and that should be... Oh no, the referees give it the other way. I thought that was a throw to Hereford, but Brighton has the ball. He's wiping it down on his shirt at the moment. Carter coming to receive.
Yep,
goes towards Carter, but it's thrown straight out of play by Brighton. Poor throwing that is.
Well, he was wiping the ball beforehand. There was a few spits of rain when we turned up here at Edgar Street.
And, well, nothing that determines that. I mean, that was just poor, wasn't it?
Poor throwing skills there from James Brighton, who tries to get straight back into the game. Interesting note, Marcus Kelly certainly pushing further forward today, more midfielder than defender, which we have seen on occasions this season, and we know he's got the composure to go forward and drive that ball forward. It's maybe something Kettering need later on, but it's on the halfway line at the moment with Hereford. He played it to the far side, a bit of a hopeful ball there, trying to get Jordan Nicholson to get on the end of that. He couldn't get onto it, and it's gone out for a throw for the Poppies.
Yeah, Gary Storer with his first contribution this afternoon on the far side with this throw-in. He's got empty there, but it's won by the number 6 Captain Galley. It goes out though for another Kettering throw-in. It's second down 5 yards, I think the term is, as this time Storer wipes the ball down. It's by the halfway line on the far side. Storer with it, a lot of movement, goes towards Enty, flicks it on to O'Connor to Carter, but it's put out of play easily by Colleen Libbard, and it's going to be another throw-in to the Poppies, adjacent to the penalty box on the far side. Connor Kennedy with it in front of the Kettering fans that have made the journey to Hereford. It's going to be a long throw from Kennedy, the way he's shaping up.
Lining up for it, isn't he?
Yep, so Kennedy then with this throw-in, Kettering packing the Hereford penalty area. It comes in towards Graham and Kennedy, but it comes back to Kennedy. He's got the ball, he's on the wing here. It comes off the number 3 and he heads the ball out. That is Modnam, and it's caught there by Storer, flicks it on to Kelly. Kelly flicks it into the outside the penalty area. Little flick on again by Kelly, but good work from Vincenti. Gets the ball through to Libbard. It's a good run here now for the number 11 Nicholson. He's outside the penalty area. Might try a shot. Does it? Comes through to Nicholson and hoofed out there, luckily by Brighton. That was a bit dangerous.
Yeah, they certainly attacked quickly there, and Storer, who had just been part of the attacking process for Kettering, had to get back quickly and make sure he didn't give any fouls away. We've certainly seen a number of penalties go against Kettering this season, and he was just biding his time, trying to force a player out into a wide angle. The ball was played into the area to James Brighton, who, as you say, Paul, hoofed it out for a corner. So opportunity here for Hereford. Ball goes straight onto the goalkeeper, punched up in the air. It's not cleared yet, with the number 10 still in the penalty area. Played back still with Hereford. Ball tried to be crossed in, but it comes off Carter. Carter tries to have another push forward, and the ball makes its way to the halfway line, and Kettering just need to steady it at the moment as a very high dangerous challenge goes in there from
Well, that's McGrath, isn't it? He's the ex-Hereford player, getting a bit of stick there for the fans, and it looked a high tackle to me. I think he could at least be going into the book. Let's hope it's not a red, as that would destroy the game before we've even started to a certain extent. But it certainly could be a yellow card, and it was a very, very strange attempt at a tackle by McGrath.
Yeah, it was clumsy, wasn't it, Paul?
It was clumsy.
Clumsy as he went.
The referee
in
is indeed booking McGrath against his former side. Of course, he was cup-tied for the last 2 games against Sutton United, so he would survive those horror shows. He's going to have to be careful now, though, with the first yellow, and it's in a good position for the Bulls on this right-hand side of the penalty area. Quite at an angle, though, so it won't be a direct shot, I wouldn't have thought, at goal. It is Owen Evans over the ball. Referee pacing out the 10 yards. We've got Kelly and Brighton making a 2-man wall. Paul White is directing it where he wants it. Owen Williams waiting to take this free kick. Penalty area, as you can imagine, is combusted with a lot of players. In it comes now towards the back post, headed out off Graham. It comes for a corner.
Quite an unusual free kick there. That was more driven in, that ball, where it was kept low. It had a lot of power to it. It was trying to get to the back stick there, and Luke Graham was the last Kettering player on that far post who guided it out, though, for another corner for Hereford. So Hereford certainly having more pressure so far in the game. 11 minutes gone at Edgar Street, 0-0. So a corner goes in. It's headed out by Marcus Kelly. Carter chests the ball. Another free kick for Hereford. This time very much in line with the goal, and this is going to be very dangerous for Kettering as we wait to see who lines up to take it. The number 11 Nicholson is standing there with the referee at the moment. The ball just being returned, and again Kettering still under pressure. Owen Evans also hovering over the ball alongside Reece Dyche as well, the former Forest Green Rovers striker, as Kettering now have a 3-man wall. It's Brighton, Kelly and Carter.
This is more of a dangerous position, and a good strike on goal here. It's paid out wide to number 11, and he does a hopeless job there. Does Nicholson missed times, it falls over.
It could have been dangerous.
It could have been dangerous if he'd have struck that first time. Would have put Paul White under pressure, but luckily for Kettering he slipped, and that was a good chance for the home side to put Kettering under direct pressure. But if you're a Poppy's persuasion, that is a relief, and Paul White places the ball down in his 6-yard box on his right-hand side of this impressive stadium. I love coming here. Fantastic floodlights. You may have seen I put a post on there of floodlight porn on the Twitter as it's headed on to O'Connor. O'Connor flicks the ball through for Marcus Kelly to chase.
Yeah,
Do well to keep this. It's going to be a chase between Kelly and the number 2, and Kieran Thomas did well there denying Kelly, but it's a throw into Kettering, taken quickly by Brighton from the wrong place, but it's to O'Connor, back to Brighton. Brighton back to McGrath, chests it down, has to play it back to Brighton, flicks it through to Kelly. Kelly inside the area, and it comes off Kelly, and it is a goal kick, but he was offside anyway. So, but a little bit more advancement for Kettering, playing in all red today. Well, red and black stripes, red shorts, and red socks, because Hereford play in the black shorts. So Kettering's normal colours not allowed, and Storer gets it to Connor Kennedy from that goal kick. Still Kennedy wearing the number 9, flicks it through to Enty. Enty will do well to keep this in. He can't, but he puts Bonham under pressure, and it's a throw in to the Poppies on the far side.
I think there was a foul actually just further back, which the referee sort of allowed that advantage to continue, but brought the game back. So it's going to be a free kick for Kettering, and Paul White will take this. We've had 14 minutes here at Edgar Street, and 0-0 so far in this Vanarama National League North game. Ball goes into the penalty area. NT jumps. O'Connor now with the ball very close to the corner flag. He needs some support. He finds Kennedy. Kennedy controls it. He plays it back to Storer. Storer with the first ball in there. Carter jumps. He just misses. The goalkeeper misses as well. Ball rolls out for corner. Maybe the keeper did get a touch to it.
Well, I thought Carter was offside, to be honest, but it's deemed a Kettering Town corner, and it gives the Poppies a chance now to put the Hereford defence under pressure. Yes, the goalkeeper Brandon Hall did miss that, didn't he? Yeah. And Kettering with a lot taller presence with Carter and new man Jay Williams going forward. There's only O'Connor in the 6-yard box. It's Kelly on our left-hand side here to take this corner in. It comes towards the back post. There's Carter, heads off him though, spins away. Be a chase for Williams, but I think the number 8's going to get there. He does.
Not the best of clearances though,
No.
and that goes straight out for a throw for the Poppies. I did see them watering the pitch just before the game. I don't know if it's actually quite slippery out there. We did mention a few spits of rain, but a couple of times we've seen a few slips, the ball skidding around out there. Quite unusual for this time of the year. As Graham plays the ball forward, trying to find O'Connor. Flag goes up against him though, and he looked just offside there.
Well, it's the normal Kettering Cat phrase, isn't it? O'Connor offside, and he was in that time offside, just minimally, but enough for the linesman to flag, giving goalkeeper Brandon Hall a chance to take this free kick. 0-0 here at Edgar Street. Or listen to Poppy's TV audio, sponsored by Algood's Brewery, and it's taken now by Hall, playing in this neon yellow kit, headed out by Graham, but only towards Thomas. Thomas pumps it forward, but it's a poor ball, and that goes out harmlessly for a goal kick. This time 2 years ago, when Kettering came, were 2-0 down against Hereford. Different today, but long way to go. And of course, if you've been living on Mars or Pluto or Venus, you'll know that there's no Nicky Eden in the dugout this afternoon. It's got Steve Kinniburgh in there, and Luke Graham's on the pitch as assistant manager. Of course, Hereford managed by Russell Slade, the experienced campaigner, so he knows what it's all about. So it's going to be a tough game for all concerned today, as there's a one there by Enty, but cleared, and Paul White gets the loose ball, collects it as the Kettering Town substitutes. Look like they're warming up. Indeed they are. New man Mitford along with Salkin running up and down, and there's Cartwright, who's been rested today. Flick on by O'Connor, but headed out by Colleen Limbard. Back to Kennedy to Storer. Storer finds Enty on the wing. Enty has to play the ball back to Storer. Plays it through towards O'Connor, who's onside. He gets it back to Connor Kennedy. Good run there by Storer. Storer now inside the penalty, puts the ball over. Goes to the back post though. Too hard for Kelly to intercept. But again, it shows an enterprising move from the Poppies.
Certainly, it's good to see that Gary Storer has now managed to get a couple of crosses in. He's been able to push further forward and cross that ball in both times, though probably a little bit too powerful and gone straight past the goalkeeper and the Kettering attack. But as you say, Paul, a throw in deep in the Hereford half at the moment, right in front of us. It's Thomas who takes. Lydbird who takes the throw in, but Kennedy gets the ball again, plays it out towards NT, probably a bit too powerful as NT charges this down, and the ball hasn't gone. It now continues, crosses the ball in, and there's a header there from the Hereford, Josh Gowling, I believe, who had to head that out. He had Aaron O'Connor just behind him. Another corner for the Poppies.
Well, if that had been a little bit more direct, I think he might have headed it into his own goal. From our angle here, it looked like it could be going in, but again, good work as Kelly goes over to the far side to take this corner. Good work by Enty, who didn't give up on that ball, and Kettering got a good chance, but it is Kelly on the far side. If you can get a good corner in, then Kettering a little bit taller in attack now, with the new guy Williams who's in there as well. As Kelly puts the ball in towards the back post, there's Carter, heads over him though, and that should go out for a throw in unless it's kept in. It is kept in, and actually it's a very good ball to handball there though.
Yep.
And no good putting your arms up there, matey. It was definitely a handball, as Reece Stice can't believe it. But Williams pumps the ball forward for Kelly, but he needs to be...
Well, I think Kelly could do something here. He's managed to win a throw-in for the Poppies. Good work there from the new centre-back for Kettering, Jay Williams. Certainly shows an awareness on the pitch, and he was able to release Marcus Kelly there. But James Brighton in front of us, throws to Kelly. Kelly to Brighton. Bypasses, goes all the way back towards McGrath. Forward now to O'Connor. Still going forward and ends up into empty space, and that's Brandon Hall, the goalkeeper for Hereford, who's able to come out and collect that. But the game's settled, hasn't it, Paul? And Kettering have managed to start pushing on now after the initial attack there from Hereford, the number of corners they had and set pieces as well. But Hereford, the ball goes forward for them, and then it's controlled by the Kettering defence, and then this time it's Kettering's turn to pump the ball forward, and it goes all the way through to Brandon Hall.
Yeah, Luke Graham acknowledging that was too heavy, and that has gone, but it's Brighton beaten to it though by the number 19. Must be number 19.
I think it was the number 7, was it?
Vincenti.
Who I did see
to
him make
shirts,
made his
he?
way
So,
over to the dugouts. Didn't see him actually change a shirt though, but I believe that's who's been replaced. A tall figure of Vincenti, as you say, and it is a free kick for Hereford. The number 8, Owen Evans, is on the floor.
I thought Kane there was going to be given the advantage because he was through, wasn't he? And the referee's brought play back. But it is a free kick, and it's going to be Owen Evans to take this in the centre circle in Kettering's half. And Carter being told to get back 10 yards. And still 0-0. Referee blows the whistle. It is Owen Evans, who's seen quite a lot of the ball so far this game. He pumps the ball in towards Gowling, but headed out by Luke Graham. And there's a foul on Graham.
Yeah,
in fact, he's offside.
Official had that straight away. I think the referee just allowed that game to just to continue slightly there. But as you say, a foul on Graham will be a free kick for the Poppers. If you know Russell Slade, the former Grimsby and Cardiff manager, he's standing there with his trademark cap on. Very much a present thing seen in the dugout there for Russell
and if you know
Slade.
Steve Kinneberry, he stood out there with his interpreter.
So, free kick for the Poppers. Paul White, captain today. Long ball forward, trying to find Enty. And doesn't quite manage it, but Kettering control the ball again. This time Graham with a header forward. And again, it's over the top. Kettering have to be careful now. James Brighton just gets in between an attacking Hereford player and gets a header back to Paul White, who's able to hold on to that there. And just a glimpse there from Hereford show their ability. The number 9, Liebird, certainly a tall player, and Luke Graham's going to have his hands full this afternoon as the ball goes long again into the Hereford half, and it's Carter who has it. Now it's O'Connor. O'Connor plays a nice 1-2 as he's finally fouled, and although Kettring's still batting away, it's Kennedy who's probably seen most of the ball for Kettering so far. Graham plays the ball forward again. Another very long ball there from Luke Graham. That's 2 in 2 minutes.
He was a bit unlucky there, wasn't he, not to be able to get onto that ball by Luke Graham, but just a bit too heavy on the pass, and that goes out for a goal kick as the Kettering subs standing on the left-hand side with new boy Mitford there with Sulkin and Cartwright, but it's Brandon Hall. He's about to take this and get us back underway. He does. It's into the Kettering half, won by Graham, flicked on by Kennedy to Kelly. Kelly has to turn. He does. He's got Brighton out on this wide side. Brighton has to play the ball back though to Williams. Williams flicks it forward, but goes straight to Gowling, who
he was fouled, wasn't he, Williams? There, the referee just seeing if that was going to continue. A bit of a hospital ball almost there from James Brighton. He certainly powered it all the way back to Jay Williams, and it sort of took him by surprise, didn't it?
Yeah, I would think that the number 10 there, Steisch, is probably on his last foul because he's committed a few. Referee having a couple of words with him there. Of course, Kettering have already had Mike McGrath booked for a horrendous tackle, actually. On another day,
just clumsy, wasn't it?
It was clumsy, but on another day that could have seen red, and always depletes the game early on a red card. And it's just what Kettering don't need under the new regime of Kinnimborough and Graham, as Paul White takes this free kick heading towards Carter and O'Connor. But Gowling's going to win this. He does. Gets through to Nicholson. He heads it on, but Graham pumps it back forward.
O'Connor just trying to wrestle, isn't he, there? And
yeah.
He's certainly got this. There's the strength of the Hereford defence really stopping him, blocking him from getting through. That's a couple of times I've noted now where he's always been the second man to get through, and that's something he's going to have to work on as Hereford now try to advance, and that's a foul against Kettering. Jay Williams looks like a wrestling move there.
It was. It's in a very good position as well, just outside the penalty area on our right-hand side. Don't like the look of this. We've considered a few from this sort of distance so far this season, and James Brighton and Kelly having a word, but they're going to have to go back the 10 yards. As I say, it's a very, very good position. It's behind all the Hereford fans who are packed into the Stoford Press cider stand. That's another £5 then for them.
Or a free drink.
Or a free drink, I'll take that. But it is number 8 there, Owen Evans and Nicholson over the ball. Paul White was on the floor at the moment, but he's got up and he's got.
I'm not sure what's going on there with Paul White. I don't know if he's
he-
just. Well, as you said, we seem to keep increasing with the size of our wall. A 4-man wall this time just shows you how dangerous this is. Early ball played into the area though, and the shot just going ricochets off. Well, it was initially the number 11 Nicholson who. Again, managed to do that, and you have to say Hereford have certainly got a range of set pieces going on here. You know, it's not your traditional free kicks, but certainly looking for gaps, looking for spaces, and
yeah, it was well worked, wasn't it? It just got blocked by the Kettering defence, and before the Hereford forwards could latch onto it, Paul White got out. He did a bit of stretching, Paul White. He, of course, took a clatter against Sutton Coldfield and above his gentleman's region on Tuesday, but he seems okay. Brighton with the Kettering throw, and then halfway in Kettering's half. On our right-hand side, trying to find Carter. Carter loses the ball, though, to Thomas. There's a bit of a melee here, and it will be a throw into Hereford. And it's going to be Kelaine Limbird with this one. We had a Limbird that played for the Poppies, didn't we, a few seasons ago? Nat Limbird. So there's a few around. As the throw-in comes in, there's McGrath, heads it back. Flicked onto the number 4, but intercepted by Storer. Now Enty with a chance here. He's on the right hand side, on the far side. He's got the number 3 to beat. Comes inside. He's got Kennedy with him. He's using his pace though. It comes for a corner. Good work there by Enty as Bodnam stopped the cross, but it gives Kettering another chance with a corner. And Kelly is running over to take this. 0-0 here at Edgar Street. We've had around 28 minutes of this first half. You're listening to Poppers TV Audio with Matt Spearman, Paul Cook, and that is sponsored this season by Elgood's Brewery. As Kelly comes in, he's got his orange boots on. In it comes. It's an in-swinging corner, headed out easily though by Gowling. And it's a good header actually because it found the number 10. And Paul White going to have to come out with this one. There's a bit of confusion, but White right out on his penalty area. I thought there's going to be no lack of communication there.
It looked like the ball almost slowed down there, and it was almost that point where Paul White was right on the edge of his area and wasn't really going to be able to come out and handle it. And there was a Hereford attacker advancing as well. So, fair play to Paul White. He did look fairly calm in the end and was able to gather that ball. But Kettering now trying to advance again, and it's just stuck in the Hereford half at the moment. A bit of a melee going on. There's a number of red and white shirts, and it's... Oh, the referee's blown there, very quiet, but it was Gary Storer who gave the foul away there. And
that's very harsh, actually. I think Vincenti had actually lost the ball and was struggling with to keep his balance, but the referee has given the free kick just inside Hereford's half on the far side. It's going to be Owen Evans to take it. Tom Owen Evans, very Welsh-sounding name, isn't it? Owen Evans.
We're not far from the.
If
the
it was
Welsh
Reece
border,
Owen Evans, it'd be a trilogy, wouldn't it? But it's Owen Evans with the ball. He floats the ball in. Kennedy's underneath it. He wins the header. Carter is there, beaten to it though by Kane. It's back into Connor Kennedy. Heads it out. Enty's underneath it. Doesn't get there. Kane does. Jagger Kane plays a good ball through to Owen Evans. In comes the shot. And,
wild shot. Just went over though, didn't it?
Just gone over.
And opened up there for Hereford, and an opportunity or a semi-opportunity there for Hereford to try and find the back of the net, and probably the closest we've seen so far.
Yeah, there's not been too much for either goalkeeper to extend themselves. Really, no side has really forced a goal mouth scramble or a definite chance, which is good for Kettering, of course. Headed again by Gowling, who seems to win most things in the air at the moment. The ball's back with Brighton. Brighton aside foots it to Paul White on his 6-yard box. Takes a touch, looks behind him to make sure no one's there. Not sure who he thought was there, but he delivers the ball towards Carter. Carter flicks it on to O'Connor. Lovely header. O'Connor now. Can he do anything with this? He's been beaten to it though. McGrath gets it to Brighton. Brighton takes a touch, flicks it through to O'Connor. O'Connor's outside the penalty area, has to go out wide, nobody with him. He's got Brighton now joining in. Brighton puts one in. There's empty little header, and that goes high to Brandon Hall, who bowls the ball out to Vincenti on the far side. He squares it to Gowling in the centre of the park. It's played out wide in front of us here to Thomas. Thomas back to Kelaine Limbird, and it's back with Brandon Hall, where it all started from.
I have to say I've been impressed with Joel Carter so far this half. He's certainly got into some good positions, and we know he's a tall player. He's able to flick on and get a few balls forward, and it's now down to Aaron O'Connor to see what he can do. As you say, the cross which went in there towards NT just didn't quite have the power for him to get the momentum to find the back of the net there. But there's some promising stuff there from the Poppies, and free kick for Kettering actually in their own half. Paul White plays the ball on the ground and looks up, tries to release NT on that far side. I don't know if it's gone too far. He's unable to control it, and Gary Storr has to come back. Instead, he watches Luke Graham play the ball forward, and O'Connor again. Offside.
Offside. Well, the linesman had got his flag up even before O'Connor had moved on that one. He's now doing some sort of hand signals akin to being at a racing meeting.
Can he do that?
I'm not sure, but he has. But it's a free kick anyway, and Brandon Hall has come well out of his goal mouth to take this. He's in uncharted territory for a goalkeeper. But he's about to take this. Everybody in Kettering's half, except Brandon Hall, of course. And we're waiting to get this taken. 33 minutes gone here at Edgar Street, still 0-0 as the ball is pumped in, but Marcus Kelly's underneath it, heads it out, but O'Connor and Carter can't get there. It's pumped back in, but Graham heads this one out again. It goes towards Colleen Limbird, and it is McGrath doing well against Rowan Limbird, who puts it ball back to Paul White, who
bit of a bobble,
out.
wasn't there, just as that ball went towards him.
Yeah, these grounds that have bobbles, not on, is it really at this level? But
probably the only bobble you'd be able to find on this bowling green pitch here.
Looks lovely, doesn't it? I mean, it does look fantastic. Even when we came the end of the season 2 seasons ago, it looked in tip-top condition, and certainly the Poppies players can't complain about the surface they're playing on. It's a wonderful surface, but it's a throw-in to be taken by Thomas for the home side. He gets it to Rowan LeBird, but cleared, but only towards the number 9. He's going to fit it through. He does. He plays the ball out to Bodnam on the far side. He plays it out to Vincenti, back to Bodnam, but it comes off Storer, and they've allowed that to go for a throw-in. They're not too far away from the corner flag on the far side. And the Hereford fans just beginning to find their voice. A lot louder last time we came out.
Certainly. As you say, Hereford just finding their voice. They're also finding probably a bit more space on the pitch at the moment and utilising it more, whereas Kettering are now having to sit in this deep position where they're having to defend a long throw which goes in towards the six-yard box. Headed out though from the Kettering. Another opportunity, ball played low on the floor. McGrath this time stabs the ball out. O'Connor chases onto the end of it. He has to play the ball back, not clearly though, to Brighton, and Brighton does get the ball. It actually deflected off a Hereford player for a throw-in for Kettering. So Brighton just looking for some opportunities. He's got Carter ahead of him, and ahead of Carter is O'Connor. If they can link up, then it could be successful, but instead Carter is out-muscled there, and it comes off there. Number 2, Kieran Thomas. Another throw-in for Kettering. If they can retrieve the ball, it seems to be stuck on some sort of on the roof there, someone having to jump up and retrieve the ball. Finally makes his way back towards James Brighton, and again advances forward now, throws it long towards Carter. Carter again unable to get a clear header to it, and the ball runs all the way past Luke Graham, all the way to Paul White, who traps it with his feet, rolls it out, and takes a long punt at this as he tries to release Daniel Enty. NT rises and heads it back towards Storer. Connor Kennedy trying to control on the ball, but unsuccessful, and now it's on the halfway line with Kieran Thomas. Thomas advancing forward, looking up for his options. He's got Marcus Kelly closing him down. He has to spin, and he gives the ball straight away to Marcus Kelly. Groans from the Hereford fan. Kelly probably showed too much there, but was able to get away with it. Kennedy with the ball out wide towards NT. NT just struggling at the moment. He's on the feet, looking at on the ground, looking at the referee, but the game continues with Storer. Plays it in, trying to pick out O'Connor. This time, all the way back towards Graham. Graham chips that ball in. O'Connor's going to have to be careful here. It's high in the air. The flag does go up, and he is offside. Well, actually, I weren't sure if that was O'Connor or if it was Marcus Kelly who was the culprit there of being offside.
Linesman had always got his flag raised before the ball was down, wasn't it? Really, he is anticipating, I think, but he's right. They were offside, and it is a free kick on the edge of the penalty area. as Brandon Hall, 6 minutes away or so from the first half, and it's bent to Vicente. Luke Graham has to clear the ball. It goes
over again.
over
Another
the,
one gone.
over the main stand, over the stand on the far side. I've just seen it ricochet off someone's house. It's
still going.
It's going down the sign. Look, it's going all the way to Worcester.
We'll see it on its way home.
See it on the way home, I think. But new ball, and Colleen Liberd has it on the far side. It's going to be a long throw by the shape of things. He's back to Archie's back. He does. It comes in towards the near post, headed out by Storer, but goes for a corner. It was a poor header, really. He could have put it anywhere but there. But
well, he wasn't really under pressure either.
No.
He could have even sort of chest that down, or have a slight touch before advancing with it. But it is a corner for Hereford. Another dangerous position here as they line up the corner and they push the players forward. A lot of movement at the back post. The ball goes in. There's a punch there from Paul White. I'm not sure if he connected or not.
he did. I think he did very well, actually. He was under pressure. Ball comes in again, back post. Paul White makes a save. It could have been a goal here. Good block by Kettering. That was Luke Graham denying the home side. It's still in there, headed out and cleared eventually by Marcus Kelly. That was the nearest to come to a goal, and Hereford really will be kicking themselves with that one as the ball comes off the number 3 for Kettering throwing. But that was a definite chance. Paul White initially doing well with a punch save. It came back in. There was a block by Luke Graham, and that could have been 1-0. But from the Poppy side of things, it remains 0-0. James Brighton with the throw-in. 6 minutes or so to go this first half. Headed on by Carter, but it only goes towards Owen Evans. He pumps the ball towards Steisch, but there is McGrath to Storer to O'Connor being marshalled well by Gowling. He turns, has to play the ball back to Luke Graham, who under pressure side foots it to Kelly. Does well to keep it in, but it's cleared only towards Carter, and here comes the ball. It's almost reached us, and if Ed Palmer was here, he'd be leaping out there to try and catch it. And Ed Palmer, what do you think of that one?
Well, that was a good bit of work there from Kettering. Luke Graham again seems to be having a good performance at the moment. Don't want to jinx it, but he seems to be upping it up against his
Well, he had a tight hamstring, didn't he, against Sutton, and came off, but he's certainly not showing it today. It's going to be Connor Kennedy with a long throw, and he's shaping up for. You can see that here in him. He comes in now. It's a good throw in. There is NT, and in comes O'Connor, but Brandon Hall comes out, does well, delivers the ball to Nicholson on the far side. Nicholson with a bit of space, being chased down by Brighton, who's switched sides at the moment. Nicholson having to come back. He's got Gowling there, who he uses. And Gowling back in the Hereford half. 0-0 here at Eggersreach as Gowling puts the ball forward. Luke Graham clears it towards Carter. Traps it heavily, but traps it. Gets it to Storer on the far side. Storer still with the ball over the halfway line. Plays it towards Enty. Enty flick to O'Connor. O'Connor turns. Nothing much on for him. Plays it back to Storer. Storer trying to flick the ball through. There'll be an offside if it goes through. And the referee will raise his flag as he does.
Yep.
And it is offside. Enty goes to collect the ball and place it in the appropriate position as Brandon Hall comes out and still has the ball and then throws it to the side there rather pointlessly, having gone to retrieve it in the first place.
Some good work there from James Brighton. He was on the opposite side of where he's playing at the moment as Hereford went to advance, and all he did was narrow the angle there for the Hereford attack and force him to play back, and all of a sudden the threat from Hereford seemed to disappear. But ball's bouncing around like anything at the moment. NT finally gets a head onto it over the top of Carter, and it falls to Marcus Kelly in the middle of the pitch. There's shouts of handball. Game continues. Kelly probably shown too much there and releases the ball, finds Brighton. Brighton all the way back to Kelly, and again this time too much shown on there, and Kelly now has to try and steal the ball back from the Hereford defence. It's played forward from Thomas. Advances forward towards Liberd before Luke Graham then clears the ball out. A throw in for Hereford in the deep of Kettering half, and they await Kieran Thomas to make his way down there to take this throw. We've certainly seen a few long throws so far this game, and it looks like it's going to be another one here as well with Thomas, although he's not going for the long lineup, and instead he throws it all the way back towards the number 5. The ball's played in, far post. Opportunity here for Hereford if they can release it. Still with the number 11. Shot goes in. Great save there from Paul White, who tips it over the post for a corner for Hereford. You know, they were about to pull the trigger there, Hereford, and you know, that was on target as Paul White.
Very good save from White, athletically pushing it over the bar on his right-hand side, and that could have been 1-0, but for the Irishman there, who's done very well. It is a corner to the home side just before half-time. There's a couple of minutes to go before the referee blows his whistle. It comes in. Paul White again catches well and relieves the pressure, telling people to calm down. Was going to deliver the ball, but he was stopped by Gowling, and still has the ball on the edge of the penalty area, but a very good save from Paul White and a good catch from the corner keeps the score at 0-0. On balance of play, I'd say we're about even on the game so far. Hereford probably have had the only real chance of putting the ball in the net, but a combination of White and Luke Graham blocking the attempt is a throw-in on the far side to Hereford.
Gowling. Hereford are hoping for a free kick thing there. I think it is a free kick.
It's a free kick, and Gowling went down, didn't he? And Brandon Hall goes to take this once again. And we're looking towards the how much time to be added on, but not yet. Hall takes this free kick. It's into the Kettering half. Brighton's underneath this, along with the number 10 there. Headed on and cleared by Williams to Enty, who's beaten to it by the number 3. That was like a dodgy foul there. The ball hooked through. Paul White needs to be alert here. He's let that go. Well done, Paul White. And it goes out harmlessly for a goal kick. Quite impressed so far with Jay Williams, who's come into a strange team, obviously, with his new teammates. And only been signed on loan last night from Northampton. Doesn't look out of place, and for an 18-year-old lad, he looks a powerhouse of a player. Certainly something Kettering have missed in the centre of the park all season. Not going to see Mitford yet. He's one of the substitutes. Hopefully we'll see him later in the second half if need be, but it is McGrath winning the header, but owing towards Nicholson, but he loses the ball to Kennedy. He plays it to Luke Graham, who pumps the ball forward. There's Enty underneath it. Enty does win it, but out comes Hall, the goalkeeper, to ease Hereford woes, and delivers it a spinning ball won there by Liberd, and it's allowed to come off McGrath for a throw-in.
I think maybe just looking there, James Brighton put that ball out for a throw. I'm just wondering if he could have almost got that back towards the goalkeeper. He wasn't really under too much pressure there, but Kettering now under pressure with this throw-in here, as you say, with Thomas, who throws it, and it's cut out from Marcus Kelly.
Looked like a foul throw to me, but there we go. These are missed these days, aren't they, these throws? But the number 2 has got the ball again. It's Thomas with it. Thomas back to Killin Limbird, back to Thomas. Good work there from Kane. The ball comes in, but the cross wild and over Paul White's goalmouth. Nothing doing there, and the Kettering players leaving the ball for Paul White to go and collect as the seconds tick away in this first half. If you just joined us, it is Hereford 0, Kettering Town 0. I almost said Kings Lynn.
Goodness me.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about them, do we? Paul White going to take this goal kick, and good performance so far from Kettering. They've handled themselves very well in this massive game for Steve Kinnemborough and Luke Graham, caretaker managers, as Vincenti wins it, but only gets it to Storer. Storer flicks the ball on, headed by Bodnam, and then the ball back.
That was a wild ball forward there from Gary Storer, but actually there's something possibly on there. There's the goalkeeper had to come out to clear that, and Storer trying to take control, has the final touch. It goes out for a throw, and the referee was just looking at his watch. I'm just glancing over. Steve Kinnenberg also looking at his watch as well, as you say, into the last couple of minutes here of this first half. 0-0 at Edgar Street. The header, the throw goes in, and an opportunity there for Stoisch to try and header that over Paul White, but Paul White timed that perfectly there and holds on to the ball as he looks to kick the ball again before the referee blows that half-time whistle. So 0-0 at the moment. Ball goes long towards Carter. Carter controls it. Kennedy plays it to his left towards James Brighton. He looks up, he tries to release O'Connor. He's got O'Connor, who then plays the ball further forward, and there's a miscommunication between himself and Joel Carter, which is a shame because Carter could have maybe done something with that ball, maybe advance forward, but Hereford now play the ball over the top, and James Brighton just watches that and has to stab that out for a throw-in for Hereford. So the last advancing attack here from Hereford, possibly in this first half, it will be a throw-in. Kieran Thomas has certainly been busy with throw-ins in this area, and again he looks for the option. Marcus Kelly is back there, just trying to mark the number 11. He's looking for options, he's being told to hurry up as the throw goes all the way back towards the Hereford number 5 before the ball is put in towards the far post, and Paul White is there. He jumps and he holds on to the ball and he brings that down. So
looks very assured today, Paul White, doesn't he? Pulled off one tremendous save, and he's looked very good in the air catching these balls, and that's good to see. Gives the defence a lot of confidence as he gets the ball into the Hereford area. Gowling winning the header though, and he gets through to Carter, who slips, and the ball back with Owen Evans. He pumps the ball forward, but it reaches Brighton. 1 minute of added time as Kelly is racing on this loose ball. Kelly plays it back to McGrath. McGrath pumps it forward to O'Connor, who is onside. Don't often say that, do we?
He needs an option, though.
He needs an option. Hasn't got one, and gives the ball almost away. Brighton left it for McGrath. Hereford push out. Carter's with the ball, turns, got empty with him. Carter fires one in,
over,
and that has just gone over, hit the tractor that is behind the goal here on our left-hand side. But
good build-up play from Kettering, and good to see O'Connor finally stay on side, and Marcus Kelly, even though there was a tight ball played to this near touchline, he was able to control it and feed it on further forward to O'Connor there, and Joel Carter shown a bit of confidence there as he was able to turn and have that shot. Unfortunately for the Poppers, it wasn't on target. Still 0-0 as we see this last minute out, as the referee does blow the whistle here at Edgar Street. So in this Panorama National League North game, it is currently Hereford FC 0, Kettering Town 0. I'd say Hereford have probably had a few more opportunities on goal than Kettering, but
nothing too threatening. No. Paul White made the great save, didn't he? And there's been a couple of blocks, but Kettering haven't really given Brandon Hall too much trouble. But it's a much more assured performance. Well, it had to be than Tuesday night, and I'll say that Kettering have done very, very well and deserve to be 0-0. Impressed with Jay Williams, also Enty and Carter working well together. O'Connor's putting in a shift, but he's just offside a bit. But overall, it is a good performance. Luke Graham doing well
Luke
at the
Graham's
back.
having a
stormer against his old club.
Yeah,
so if you are listening in, it's a much, much better performance by the Poppies. And if they can build on that in the second half, you never know, we might get some sort of result here, and that would be tremendous considering the turmoil that Kettering have been on all week. Well, from Matt and myself, I'm going to take a 15-minute break as the sprinklers come on to dampen one half of the ground anyway. So we'll see you in the second half. It's AFC Hereford FC even 0, Kettering Town 0. welcome back to Edgar Street as the teams come onto the pitch. Current score is Hereford 0, Kettering Town 0, and a much improved performance by this side this afternoon. And Paul White, though, coming to save the Poppers with a brilliant save from really the only real chance of the first half, and then a block by Luke Graham just to see that off. Other than that, it's been very, very evenly matched. And new boy Jay Williams there in the centre of defence acquitted himself really well against a very good home side with a very good home record. Let's be honest, they don't lose many here at Edgar Street so far this season. Kettering Town lined up like this, in case you haven't heard. It is Paul White in goal and captain, 2 Gary Storer, 3 James Brighton, 4 Luke Graham, 5 debut for Jay Williams, 6 in return from Cup tie Mike McGrath, who's been booked in the first half, 7 Daniel Enty, Aaron O'Connor is at 8, 9 Connor Kennedy, 10 Joel Carter, and 11 Marcus Kelly. And we're about to kick off. Kettering kicking from left to right. Joel Carter is over the ball, and here we go. So it's Carter back to McGrath. He plays it back to Paul White. Paul White first time launches the ball towards O'Connor and Enty, but Gowling once again wins it to Vincenti, and that goes out for a throw-in taken from the wrong place by
well, I think it was a catch and throw, because if you look, Storer just pulled his foot away before it came towards him, but the Hereford players there have sort of tried to overrule the official. The linesman didn't put his flag up, he didn't see it, so he couldn't be part of that decision there, but it was Hereford who have the throw right in front of their home dugout, where Russell Slade, the Hereford manager, overwatches the throw and goes long, headed in by the number 10. Kept have to be careful, it's just on the edge of the penalty area, cleared away from Brighton, header from Enty. Carter trying to pick out Enty again. It bouncing around at the moment. Connor Kennedy comes back to try and do his defending job, but Hereford try to advance forward. This time that ball definitely did come off Gary Storer for a throw for Hereford.
Yeah, these are the periods where Kettering normally concede a goal early on, so it'll be if they can survive the first few minutes of the second half, then they'll do well. Long throwing comes in from Bodnam. It's headed out. Bodnam gets the ball back, heads it back. It's played back to Gowling, and it's a ricochet off McGrath to O'Connor, but he's beaten to it by Gowling. Only towards Storer. Gowling gets the ball back again to Vicente. He traps it, but in doing so puts it out of play. So it's a throw into Kettering, and it's thrown quickly by Storer towards O'Connor, who's on his own. Flicks it back though to Enty. Connor goes down. Enty still with it. He goes down.
Enty
Foul.
goes down. Yeah, foul this time. Aaron O'Connor does get up straight away as well. Vicente for Hereford has swapped sides. It looks like he's playing or operating on this this near hand side to us. Kettering shoot from left to right, but good opportunity here for Kettering to get the ball into the penalty area. Marcus
They've certainly got some height in the side now, haven't they, with Jay Williams. He's certainly a man mountain, and with Carter in there as well. If he can get the ball, that's not 10 yards. If that's 10 yards, I'm a Dutchman. Paul van der Koek. As it comes in towards the back post, there's Carter. He gets there, and it comes off Carter's chest and rolls out for the goal kick. Sub today for Kettering, 12 Lyndon Meikle, 14 Ben Mills, 15 Sam Cartwright, 16 Trey Metford, and 17 Brett Solkin. So
the bench certainly looks positive there. You know, there's players who can come on to continue attacking with the ball, with no Nimley or Hodge this afternoon. But you've still got Lyndon Meikle, who we know can be a danger in the middle of the park, and it'll be good to see if the new signing Trey Mitford also is able
I'll certainly
to
give
come on.
Mitford 20 minutes towards the end to see what he can do if it's still 0-0, and see if his height and power, as Kennedy is rolling around. Rather gingerly gets up, limps up, but Kennedy's made of sterner stuff. He's from Corby, you know.
Steve Kinneberg knows that, and
yes.
He knows how some of these ex-Corby players play as well. As you said, Steve Kinneberg in the dugout for Kettering this afternoon, and also joining him as a joint manager, Luke Graham, out on the pitch as the ball goes forward towards Carter. Carter jumps. That is a corner. I thought the referee was going to give a foul against Carter there.
Well, Carter leaped, didn't he? And it looks like it came off Killeen Liberd, who protesting to the referee that he didn't touch it, but they're bound to do that, aren't they? But it's going to be a corner on the far side. It's Marcus Kelly's with it. They've been. This will be an outswinger, and Kennedy towards the back post. No changes from either side at the moment as Kelly puts the ball in. It comes here, headed out once again by Gowling, who's been very impressive in defence for the Bulls this afternoon. It's back with McGrath. McGrath puts the ball in. There's O'Connor. O'Connor onside. Hits the bar. Offside though. The flag goes up. What a shame. It didn't count anyway, but he hit the bar. But once again, the O'Connor flag goes up. And
the official obviously is just a little bit slower with his reactions this side than the official which we had in the first half opposite us.
Yeah, but it was a good placed header, and goalkeeper was
positive.
beaten. And if it had been onside and been 6 inches lower, I was a Dutchman and was a millionaire, then everything would be right. But it's not.
Well, it's still 0-0.
Still 0-0.
The free kick there goes straight into the middle of the park, and Hereford now look to break away the ball. Ricocheting, bouncing around at the moment, and two Kettering players coming advance and trying to get control. It's still header tennis galore out there as the ball finally settles on the ground with the number 4 Kane, who then plays it out wide towards Thomas. Thomas back towards Kane, played into the middle of the park. Ball goes straight past McGrath there, but it's finally cleared away from Graham for a throw-in for Hereford in their own half. It's was going to be taken quickly there as O'Connor's charges forward, but instead the referee says, back in your original place, as the ball goes with a 1-2 back to the throw-in taker, and that's gone out for another throw-in for Hereford on the far side. They're slowly making their way down that touchline towards the Kettering fans, who stand opposite and sit opposite us. It's a 2-tier stand opposite us here at Edgar Street, and the ball played quickly from McGrath out to the left hand side towards Marcus Kelly. Plays it off the Hereford player. Throw in for Kettering with James Brighton. He has Kelly, he has McGrath around him at the moment, but he still holds the ball. Finally goes for a longer throw, this time trying to pick out Joel Carter. Carter gets something on it, but not enough, and that's a poor ball there from Jay Williams. Gives the ball away towards Hereford. They look to break, although that was a more of a golf club hit there from the foot of the
sand wedge, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Russell Slade not happy with that. He was out there gesticulating out of his dugout. Of the games here so far at Hereford, the 5 games, they've drawn 4 and won 1. So unbeaten, but as O'Connor comes away, Brandon Hall has to come out on the edge of his penalty area to stop that. But unbeaten here, but not winning too many games. Let's hope that continues this afternoon from the Poppies side of things, of course. No substitutions from either side as Brandon Hall gets the ball out. It flicked on, but only to Luke Graham. Luke
Controlled
Graham
well,
passes it wide to Enty. Enty to Connor Kennedy, has to go back though, plays it to Storer. Storer pumps it forward. There's no Kettering player there.
Keeper's coming out.
He is, and Carter gives up the chase as Brandon Hall rolls the ball in front of him outside the penalty area as the sun goes in, and was it ever out? But
it's certainly duller than it was when we left Northamptonshire this morning. But NT now advancing on this near hand side, gets past one, a lot of trickery going on, gets past the number 3, although the number 3 then catches up with him and puts that ball out for a throw-in. For
Bodham's
Kettering.
done well, hasn't he, down there? And say like Gowling in the middle has been an exception, I think, for the home side. Have sort of stopped any Kettering advancement really, but it's going to be a long throw by Connor Kennedy on this right hand side, midway in the Hereford half.
Can't even see Connor Kennedy.
No,
at the moment.
can't see him at the moment as we're obscured, but here he comes now. It comes in towards Carter, headed out easily though, and really nothing from that. And Vincenti on the ball just hooks it away, and that will be another throw in to Kettering. Storer going for this one. He collects the ball, quickly throws it towards Enty. Enty turns, squares it. It's a poor ball though, intercepted. And away come the home side now, if they can keep this in.
Williams
almost take
this,
it.
yeah.
Vincenti's come inside. There should be an interesting one here. Vincenti comes through. Paul White, good save. And it came off a Kettering player into Paul White's hands. And the home fans, of course, saying back pass.
Well, it did look like it came out of Jay Williams' foot, but I don't think he was directing it straight at Paul White. It was almost a missed clearance there, but just shows you though for Kettering a mistake there from the attack from NT, and all of a sudden Hereford had that opportunity there to knock on Kettering's goal, but the ball now with Hereford again over the halfway line, and Hereford now looking a bit more positive here. The ball runs forward and Connor Kennedy has to see this out. He takes a touch, plays it up the pitch, trying to get as far as possible before it goes out for a throw-in. But the Hereford fans around us here are now starting to pick up their voices. They feel like they're turning slightly as they go towards the Kettering goal. Throw-in taken with Steisch, and that was a disappointing, I think you'd call it, from a Hereford fan. Disappointing pass forward there, shot forward, rolls all the way through, all the way for a goal kick for the Poppies.
Paul White, though, looks like he's in some discomfort. He got injured slightly against Sutton Coldfield, holding his midriff, let's say, and he's doing the same thing again with that collision there. But Paul White takes this goal kick and he winces as the ball goes down towards Carter.
Well, I think there's a head injury there, and the referee blows straight away, and it looks like it is it Josh Gowlin who's down at the moment? Just trying to see if I can see him out there. Yep, it looks like it's the captain who's been very solid for Hereford this afternoon.
Yeah, very impressive display by Callan as Paul White is stretching to try and ease his problem. Doesn't look happy, the Irishman. He's looking over at the Kettering bench. There's no goalkeeper. Well, there is a Sulcan, I suppose.
There's a Sulcan who is actually warming up out there, but so is everyone else. So in this corner to the left of us here, doing a quite a jig, aren't they? Wow, an interesting warm-up action going on there from some of the Hereford and Kettering players. The player is up, Gowlin is up for Hereford, but obviously has to go off the pitch after receiving medical treatment there, and he'll want to come straight back on once the official indicates, and it will be a ball just kicked straight from Hereford, and now they look to advance. So Kettering with very little luck there as McGrath just sees off, and Williams plays the ball forward long, and O'Connor chases after it. It's not near him though, and again Hereford try and settle with the ball on the halfway line. The ball's pumped forward, trying to find that number 10, and Graham allows it to bounce before clearing it forward towards Marcus Kelly, who jumped at the same time as the Hereford player, and came off the Hereford player for a throw-in for the Poppies. So still 0-0 here at Edgar Street. We've had 11 minutes of this second half. Kettering have had opportunities, so have Hereford this second half, but hopefully the confidence continues to grow with the Poppies. They certainly need it today as Carter tries to steal the ball off the number 2, Thomas, who puts it out for another throw for the Poppies. James Brighton with the ball, just past the Kettering fans opposite us, makes its way towards the halfway line. Looks to throw it. Kennedy doesn't want it in the end, and it goes long towards Carter. And again, Carter's out-muscled there, and an early ball forward comes off the Hereford player. It is Kennedy, and I didn't even hear the referee blow his whistle there, but
there's a foul on.
It's Thomas, isn't it?
Thomas has gone down as the referee's call played back. But as I say, it's still anything here is going to be good for Kettering, a point all three. It's a Brucey bonus if they get anything from this fixture. They have 12 days off for the next game against Spenamore at home at Latimer Park, as Sulcan is warming up, going back to the dugout. Brandon Hall gets play back underway, won by McGrath. It finds Kelly, does well there. Lovely work from Marcus Kelly. He's now on the wing on the far side, clips inside, plays it square to Connor Kennedy. Kennedy turns, has to play the ball back to Luke Graham, who has to stretch, plays it back to Williams, and Williams pumps the ball forward. It's a poor ball really, goes straight to goalkeeper Brandon Hall. O'Connor looks out of position there.
Yeah, I wonder how much more we'll see of Alan O'Connor this afternoon. He seems to be sort of missing in a few places out on the pitch as the ball is finally picked up and played forward. It's gone backwards actually from Kira Thomas into the middle of the park towards the number 5, back towards Thomas. Thomas plays it, trying to pick out Vincenti, who gets that ball further forward now. An advancing action here from Hereford as the ball goes into the area. Shot by the number 10, and it's a very poor shot indeed, as didn't quite catch it right there, the number 10 Resteisch, and that has gone into the abandoned empty stand behind Paul White, and the ball boy has to scramble to retrieve the ball.
Some of the Hereford fans here getting a bit unsettled now. They're wondering if they're going to score, putting a bit more pressure on them as Cartwright is limbering up alongside Meikle. And there's a new man over there in the corner, Trey Mitford. It'd be nice if he came on and scored on his debut.
Yeah, he's been studying this game for quite some time actually in that corner, really just watching how the game progresses as Gowland's on the floor again, but it's a throw for Kettering now, and Aaron O'Connor wants to take it quickly to NT, which he does. NT rushes that really and loses the ball, although O'Connor sneaks in, gets into the penalty area, needs to get the cross in, short cross, he does, and that's cleared away from the Hereford defender. Corner for the Poppers. Good work there from Alan O'Connor. Maybe you heard me say about his time done maybe for today.
Well, he certainly put a good run in there, didn't he? And he put the ball into the 6-yard box. If he could have angled it a little bit better, there was NT and the on-rushing Carter to stab the ball in, but it is a corner to Kettering. Brett Solkin is going to come on. I can see Steve Kinnemborough having words with him at the moment. Oh, no, sorry.
No,
that's Luke Graham. Yeah. In comes Kelly. Header comes in, headed out by Gowling. It's a melee in there and headed away. Only back to Kelly in the penalty area. Kelly traps it, takes his turn. He loses the ball though. Back to Connor Kennedy. Kennedy puts one in. Goalkeeper comes out and catches. Danger averted for Hereford, but a good spell there for Kettering. And
well, Hereford want a quick break there, don't they? But the goalkeeper Hall is holding on to that ball, and that allows Kettering to get back. I think the instructions there was actually from Steve Kinnenberg and Luke Graham, the joint caretaker managers here, as NT continues and has done well to hold on to the ball. It's played out wide towards Marcus Kelly. Marcus Kelly, who seems to be growing in confidence, he's certainly finding a bit more space on that far side of the pitch. But it's with McGrath now, the former Hereford player himself, to Kelly. Not the best of balls from Kelly, and James Bison has to track back to get that before Williams plays in a low ball forward again. You can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to release the Kettering front line, but they're not quite in tune with him at the moment. But good bit of work there from Kettering as they continue to frustrate Hereford here. It's Hereford FC 0, Kettering Town 0. We've had 15 minutes of the second half here as Luke Graham heads the ball up. Not the best of clearance, and Connor Kennedy has to have another go before NT does control the ball before gives it away. And again, the Hereford player goes down, puts his hand on the ball before the referee blows the whistle. You know, he's got to be careful there.
Looks like the Hereford are going to make Kettering make a substitution. It's going to be
Ben
Milnes,
yep.
Surprisingly coming on for the Poppers. It looks like Hereford were as well, but Joel Carter is coming off for Ben Milnes. That's the first change of the day, getting a cuddle from Steve Kinnemborough. That'll mean a change around. A bit of singing in there.
Of head, shoulders, knees and toes here. Bypasses us completely, not sure why. But
I'm not.
Free kick for Owen Evans. He's took all the set pieces and that goes to the far post.
Foul.
Flag goes up.
A foul on Storer, wasn't there, as well, offside, but Storer's been held down by Vincenti and linesman straight away got the flag up. That is consistent, this
Mike
linesman.
Simon's coming on, it looks like, for Hereford. Can just see. Oh no,
Brad Ash.
No. Brad Ash. I did see a number 14 shirt down there.
Going on for Vincenti, the number 19. And so that's one substitution each. Are we going to see Trey Mitford making his debut for the Poppies this afternoon? He's still warming up down here with... and another substitution, it's Mike Simmons coming on for Rhys Stiche.
Well, I don't know, is that are they unhappy with Rhys Stiche there? Because there's certainly a round of applause for that substitution. Quite an interesting choice there. I suppose Stiche hasn't had the best of games this afternoon.
Well, Simons has scored a few goals for Hereford, so he's probably a crowd favourite, and that's going to put the Kettering defence under even more pressure as it's headed on by Jake Bodnam for Kettering Town throw-in, right by the corner flag on our right-hand side in the Hereford half. 0-0 here at Edgar Street. You'll listen to Poppers TV audio with Matt Spearman and Paul Cook, stroke Ed Palmer.
Thank you.
And sponsored by Elgood's Brewery. Throw-in hasn't been taken yet, so you're missing nothing. It's Connor Kennedy going to take this long throw-in, as he's shaped up all afternoon to do. He's wiping the ball on his shirt. And Mitford is streaking down the side there. Are we going to see his introduction to the game as Kennedy puts the ball in?
Long throw.
A long throw in and a flick in there, and he touches a goal.
It's
1-0!
It's a goal, yeah. It's Marcus Kelly who's put that in the back of the net. Now, there was a confusion there, wasn't there, between the defence. The goalkeeper came out. Looked like he tried to hold
Well, it's
on
not
to
a goal.
No? Is it a free kick, a foul, a push? Possibly?
Well, it looked like a goal. There's a melee in there. We're quite a distance away, and the linesman and referee have decided no goal. So my
Where's the
1-0
VAR?
shout. Where's VAR when you need it?
Well, Kettering have found the back of the net then, but it could be Hereford now who look to break away, as they are now in the Kettering half. It's with the number 3 Bodenham, plays it all the way back towards Gower, over the top, and Kettering have to be careful here. Opportunity for Simons, plays it straight at Paul White, who holds on with it.
It's offside
with both
anyway,
hands.
Matt, so it wouldn't have counted. But
Well, it's picking up here, isn't it, Paul?
it is picking up, yeah. 2 chances in the space of a minute. Kettering the ball in the net, but ruled no goal. And then Simons with a good chance as
Well, Enty's
Enty.
in a great place here.
Yes, he comes inside here. Enty. O'Connor gets the ball, turns, does a double dribble, and does a
Ooh, drags it wide,
really
doesn't he?
drag shot wide. He was all feet and ankles, and unfortunately he dragged it wide of the post. But as Matt said, things livening up here in this second half. Both sides now having good chances to go ahead. Kettering having the ball in the net through Marcus Kelly, but not sure why it wasn't given. It might have been a foul in the melee that was preceding it. But it's Brandon Hall with it, and headed on by Williams to Graham, who
yeah, good
hooks
ball
the ball
there.
anywhere, and it comes off the number 3 rather luckily. And a headed ball back, goalkeeper needs to move, and it's gone for a corner.
Well, I tell you what, the Hereford defence in the last couple of minutes starting to look very rocky out there, haven't they?
They are. Once Gowling, who has been so influential in that first half, is now geeing up his men because he's been, as I say, superb. Paul White stretching. He's still got a bit of a niggle, I think. But it is going to be Kelly who's going to take this corner. Brighton going for the short. It's Kelly never even saw that, so he's not going to play
Still might
it.
be the option there.
It might be, but I would doubt it. Storr is the last man back. It comes in towards the back post, headed on and
Straight over Milnes, isn't
and
it?
that should go for another Kettering Town corner. It does. Milne's going to take this one. Kelly going back. Brighton and Storr are now coming back to mark Brad Ash. Ash moving into the centre of the park. It's going to be Ben Milnes on the far side with the corner. Hand goes up, in, it comes towards the back post. A header comes in again. There's a scramble and headed out by Simmons, and it's Connor Kennedy. He can't turn.
He needs
He
some
still
options,
can't. Needs
doesn't
some
he?
options. He's got nothing there. He now gets the ball back to Marcus Kelly. Kelly outside the penalty area, puts it in left-footed. There's a chance here. Gowling and
it couldn't get-
O'Connor just misses it.
Couldn't connect, could he?
Couldn't connect any touch, and that would have been in, but it sails by Brandon Hall's near post as O'Connor gets himself back up off the floor as the Poppies are increasing the pressure on the hosts, and the fans responding to get behind the Bulls. As Kettering, for the first time in this game, have taken it to, I think, Hereford, and putting them under a little bit of pressure.
That's right. The Simons tries to direct that ball forward. He's a large player, and it could be an opportunity here for Hereford. The number 11 plays the ball, shot, finds the back of the net and scores. That's a great goal there from Jordan Nicholson, who was able to turn once he got into the penalty area, found the back of the net. Wasn't too much that Paul White could do there. It looked like he was stretched as that ball went in, and all of a sudden, as we said, Paul, it was picking up here. It has picked up, but it's picked up for Hereford, who have scored here. It's Hereford FC 1, Kettering Town 0, and now it's time for Kettering to see what they can do.
That's only the second shot on target against Paul White, and nothing he could do about that. It was a great goal, slightly against the run of play. Kettering had all that advantage and couldn't make that pay, but it is Hereford 1, Kettering Town 0, and the Poppies with it all to do now in this second half, as the Hereford players taking their time to get into their own half. Referees having a word with Colleen Liberd, and also having a word with Gowling. I'm not sure what that is about, but they are having a long conversation. Remember, Kettering had the ball in the net and had that one disallowed, and they have now fallen behind in a game really where they could be counting themselves unlucky once again not to be at least on level terms, but they now have to put in that extra gear and try and get back at the ball. Is with Brighton from the kick-off. He plays it back to Jay Williams. Williams out wide to Brighton again. Brighton under pressure, flicks it over towards Graham, has to head it on. Storwood needs to control this. He does. Being pressured by the number 17. Good work by Enty. Finds Connor Kennedy on the halfway line. Connor Kennedy comes inside, still going wide, flicks the ball through to O'Connor, who is onside.
Offside. Yeah, I'm going to say the good work there from the number 14, Mike Simons, the substitute had just come on for Hereford, who had dropped back there and was able to use his well, power and strength to play that ball further forwards towards Jordan Nicholson, who gave him that opportunity, and he's certainly going to be a threat for Kettering. They have to now deal with this towering forward who has come on, replaced Rhys Dyche about 5 minutes ago, but goal kick there for free kicks even from Hereford, and now Kettering trying to get back in this. The number 8's down at the moment, it's with Simons, comes off Simons last, a throw in for the Poppies, and Gary Storer will take this throw, and can't really see any action going on for Kettering. Doesn't look like we're having any substitutes anytime soon. We've seen the introduction of Ben Milnes, he came on for Joel Carter in the second half, and Kettering working their line. Going to be another throw in. I can just about see the head of Steve Kinnenberg, who's spectating, observing, thinking what to do for here as we await the ball, and Gary Storer does have it, looking for options, throws it back towards Luke Graham. Luke Graham does a nice little turn there. He has to be careful though, and he plays that back towards the debutant Jay Williams. He continues the ball over to the far side to Brighton, back to McGrath, to Brighton, Brighton on the floor to Milnes, Milnes out wide towards Kelly, Kelly pushing forward now, pushing towards the Hereford goal, still bobbling around. It comes off a Hereford player for a Kettering throw. This is better from Kettering. They're holding on to the ball at the moment, and you have to say, you know, Kettering haven't done too much wrong so far, have they, Paul?
No, it's been a good performance from Kettering, really. They're unlucky to be a goal down. It was a great strike, great goal, but yeah, unlucky once again. Unlucky that doesn't win your matches, but here comes Brighton. He puts the ball in its deflection, and that should go for a corner, which it does. And Trey Metford is back in the dugout. Are we going to see his introduction? And I would think if we are, O'Connor would be coming off, but it's Ben Milnes with the corner on the far side. Can the Poppies get back on a level terms? They deserve it. It's a poor corner from Ben Milnes, and it comes off. Who's down? I can't see, but the goalkeeper going over to see him. It looks like McGrath.
Well, I think Marcus Kelly is saying he felt the ball came off the Hereford player last. He was trying to plead that it was another corner, but in fact it's a goal kick here for Hereford, so they're leading Kettering 1-0. Goal scored by number 11, Jordan Nicholson.
20 minutes to go at plus time added on here at Edgar Street. Plenty of time to get a goal back, or equalise at least, and it is the number 17 who gets the ball. Ash, he gets the ball again, comes inside, goes down. A foul there, more like a dive that was. And the Hereford players are
booking here. I think
another booking. It's going to be Jay Williams on his debut gets a booking there. So that's the second Kettering Town player that goes in the book. And you consider some of the fouls have been committed the other way, then rather harsh. But there we go. So it's a free kick midway in Kettering's half, and Hereford in no. And here we have the substitution is being made. It is Mitford who's going to make his debut, and he is replacing Aaron O'Connor. So the debutant coming on from Bedford. Let's see what the youngster can do. He's been quite a goal scorer with Bedford and Aylesbury United in the past, but those are teams in lower divisions. But he's quite a tall, muscular young player. But at the moment it is a free kick headed out by Luke Graham, back in by Owen Evans. Simmons with it as a melee in the area. Here comes Libbard.
Just can't deal with it, can they?
No, NT loses the ball and regains it.
He's gone
does
a long
well
way round and got it, hasn't he? Great work there from NT as the ball goes forwards, and Trey Mitford charges, tries to get on the end of it. It's played all the way back to Hall in goal, who kicks it first time. He plays that long ball. James Brighton watches that as he misjudged the header. Now an advance here for Hereford as they run down the touchline. The ball needs to be crossed in. Kettering again, players back, and Marcus Kelly is there. The ball is trapped underneath the Hereford player. It's McGrath, back to Kelly, to McGrath, who plays it back towards Kelly. They're still in their corner flag at the moment. They need to get this ball out, which they do. Long ball is played straight over the top, but Mitford will not get on the end of this, although there's a mix-up between Gower and Hall, and Gower not too happy with his goalkeeper there. Hall had to play that out, and he managed to keep it on the pitch, but a bit more panic there between Gower since he had that injury in the second half. He doesn't seem the strong player which we saw in the first, so hopefully Kettering can capitalise on this. The ball goes all the way back to Paul White. Paul White looking for options, and one option is Trey Mitford up front, but instead he finds NT. There's a barging of players there as Mitford goes into, it looks like number 5, Jordan Liebert. But the ball all the way back with Brandon Hall in goal for Hereford, who will kick this out of his hands. He takes the goal kick. Luke Graham's watching this come down. He's against Mike Simons, who Graham does well there, and that is a free kick on James Brighton. So, as I said, first half, Luke Graham really showing a good performance at the moment. Stint seems to be holding on to the defence, getting them going. Still time for Kettering here as Paul White just looks for his options. Game starting to get stretched now as that ball goes long. Empty towards Mitford, and the ball comes off a Hereford player. Throw in for Kettering in the Hereford half, and Gary Storer is going to take this.
Yeah, Storer to Ente, who turns, but it's going to be cleared. It might not be. It is clear, but it goes out for a Kettering Town throw-in. Bodnam under pressure there from Ben Milne. Storer with the throw-in gives it to Connor Kennedy, who's going to put a long one in. We have Mitford now, who's quite a size in there. Kettering a little bit taller in attack now, as Jay Williams also goes into the penalty area on the penalty spot. Lyndon Meikle warming up. The ball comes in. It's thrown on. There's a chance here, and
comes off there.
Comes off. I think it's Mitford, and no, it's in fact Jay Williams, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jay Williams, and Spoons overhauls goals. That will be a goal kick. Looks like Lyndon Meikle is going to come on. He's going back to the dugout now, and it is a goal kick by Brandon Hall, long towards Simmons, won by McGrath, but only towards Brad Ash. There is LeBird, and there's Simmons again, heads the ball forward to the goal scorer Nicholson, to LeBird. He's got Ash with him, intercepted by Storer. Good work there by Connor Kennedy under vast pressure. Well won by LeBird, and then Ash gets a ball.
Comes on
in
Jay Williams. He can't do anything of that, can he?
Hit his chest, claims of handball, but Gowling once again puts the ball as a push there by Williams.
Yep.
And
he's got to be careful. Don't forget he's been given a yellow card.
He has. That was a definite push, and the referee's right. It's a free kick midway in Kettering's half in the centre of the park. We've got Owen Evans over it, and a chance here for the home side to put Kettering Town under more pressure. It's been a very even game, to be fair. In comes the free kick. There's Simmons headed out. Storer's a bit too slow there. It's Ash, but NT intercepts down by the corner flag, clears it, and there's only Mitford up front, and Mitford chasing.
He's certainly chasing, isn't he?
He is.
He's
Ball back with the goalkeeper, and he's still chasing the goalkeeper down, and he clears it, and that should end up with Storer, who lets it go over his head. That's a throw in Kettering's half. Storer goes back wearing gold boots. Are they gold or pink boots? They're gold, aren't they? Very gold.
Edward not
bronze. Let's call it bronze. And indeed, Meikle is coming on. Kettering's third substitution.
McGrath,
it's going to be McGrath coming off. It's the former Hereford player being replaced by Lyndon Meikle. He's had a. So that's all positions now will be changed. Meikle got at least 15 minutes or so to put his magic on things, as headed on by NT.
Well, Gower was very high there, wasn't he?
He was, nothing given. A hook on here. Luke Graham underneath it to Storer. Storer turns. It ricochets to Libbard. Very luckily there. Libbard gets it only to Storer. Storer has to play the ball towards Kennedy. Kennedy turns, plays it square. Brighton did well before Nicholson got in, and Kelly plays the ball back to Paul White on his 6-yard box. White slows things down, tells the players to go forward, delivers it towards NT. Gowling, and that ball just rolls out though for a goal kick, rather harmlessly, after NT couldn't get to the ball. So it's Hereford 1, Kettering Town 0. Goal scored on 64 minutes by Jordan Nicholson, and a very good goal indeed. Nothing that Paul White could do about that one. Kettering had the ball in the net earlier, but that was disallowed. Looked like for a foul. Nothing was really signalled by the referee. And Simmons heads the ball onto LeBird. Back to Ash. Ash plays it out wide to Nicholson. Nicholson coming inside here. Comes off Brighton, though, who did well. And that's going to be a corner to Hereford. And the fans beginning to sense that Hereford may be going to increase their lead.
Definitely, or at least hold on. I think this is the first corner of the second half, isn't it, for Hereford?
It is, and
you've got to watch out for that number 14, Mike Simons. You know, he is certainly a
powerful
talent.
unit, isn't he? As you can see there, he makes mincemeat there of Ben Milnes, who's been tasked to mark him. The ball comes in towards Gowling at the back post. Gowling gets a header onto it, and he goes harmlessly out for a goal kick. Paul White rolls the ball back rather quickly, but then decides to go to the other side to take the note. He places it in the centre of his goal mouth, then places the ball again for the third time. Obviously that divot there wasn't quite right, but White delivers the ball, goes towards Mitford, but beaten easily by LeBird. He gets onto his namesake LeBird, who plays it out to Nicholson on the left-hand side.
Great challenge there from Brighton.
Yeah, and that goes to Kennedy, spoons the ball over, and Marcus Kelly doing well to pressurise Thomas into a throw-in, taken quickly back to Kelly. Kelly inside, goes down the outside now, but shows too much of it. It comes off. Kelly ricochets into the air, a slice by the number 5 LeBird. Kelly with the ball by the corner flag. Still Kelly with it. Got nothing much on. Plays the ball towards Brighton. Brighton comes inside towards Meikle. Meikle might try a shot, doesn't. Plays it out wide, loses the ball. Ball back with Williams. Williams plays it back to Kelly, who stays advanced to where he was earlier on. Puts the ball in low, comes off the number 3 and cleared by Ash. And it comes off a Kettering player, unfortunately, for a throw-in on that far side. Nothing really happening for Kettering at the moment. No look whatsoever. And don't really deserve to be a goal down, but it was a great strike from Nicholson that beat Paul White. Can't deny that. And it's been a very even game and a much better performance by the Poppies than we've witnessed in the last couple of games at least. And defensively pretty solid, to be fair, as Simmons is beaten to it by Brighton. He finds Milnes on the far side. Milnes on the byline, has to check, plays it square towards Kennedy. Kennedy has to turn, plays it back to Luke Graham. Luke Graham, the former Hereford captain, puts it forward towards Enty. Enty traps it well. He's got nobody with him at the moment. Still Enty now going on his own down this right hand side. He's gone down by the corner flag and it comes off the Hereford player. It hasn't gone out. Gowling heads it out and they somehow get the ball away, and a slice there only towards Storer, who chests it down, and then LeBird comes in and it's a throw in to the Poppies. Good work here from Kettering. They're not giving up. They're showing a lot more commitment. There's a lot more about them than in recent games. Nothing lackadaisical about this one. Flicked in. There is Mitford, and he's just muscled off the ball by the number 4 Jagger Kane. He micked it from him, so it's back with Hall, who's taken his time to deliver this as time is marching on. Kettering down by just that solitary strike from Nicholson as Williams gets the ball in towards Storer. Storer gives the ball away, but Williams heads it back. It almost arrives at Enty. It's a bit scrappy at the moment. There's a bit of head tennis going on here. It's going nowhere. Kennedy gets to the ball. He's barged off it by Simmons, who takes the ball away. It is a big unit. Simmons still going down this left-hand side. Still Simmons. He's got Owen Williams with him, but he still has the ball. Chases it back. He finds Bodrum. Back to Simmons. Back to the number 3 who's going to put the ball in. He does. And chested down by Milnes to Kennedy. Plays it square to Kelly, who has to look to make sure that he's not going to be dispossessed. He plays it out wide to Brighton. Brighton still in Kettering's half, though. Plays a long ball for Mitford to chase. Mitford's got LeBird after him. LeBird beats him to it. Plays it to the number 4. Intercepted there by Meikle. Meikle now with a chance here. And here's LeBird. He's through. LeBird goes down. Penalty. No nothing
penalty
given. And LeBird furious that he hasn't got the penalty. Probably would have been a bit harsh actually, but with my biased eyes I would have given it.
Well, that was a great link up there between Meikle and Mitford, wasn't it? As they did a nice little 1-2 to get into that dangerous area. Would have liked to see someone pull the trigger there, try and find the back of the net earlier instead of continuing, but that was promising from Kettering. Let's hope we haven't run out of too much time and we can have another opportunity. Meikle now plays the ball forward. Almost finds Trey Mitford. It's now with James Brighton over the halfway line. Advances forward towards Marcus Kelly. Ben Milnes wants the ball ahead of him. He plays the ball. Instead, it'll be Connor Kennedy on the edge of the area. Controls the ball. Bit too much so, and it goes all the way past James Brighton. Out for a throw in close to the corner flag of Hereford. If Kettering can keep Hereford in their own half and try and retrieve the ball off them, then they'll be able to push on. It's number 5, Liebird, who goes over to take the throw in on the far side.
We've just been given the attendance. It's 2,557 and 59 poppies travelled to the game, so well done to them. And at the moment it's going to be a long travel back, but a much more enterprising performance so far by the poppies as Paul White hooks the ball out towards Enty. Enty pushed in the back, nothing given by the referee, and he's furious with the referee as Gowling mops up.
It was a clear
push in the back, wasn't it? As Nicholson, the goal scorer, goes down on this left hand side, plays the ball into Liebird. He turns, gets the ball to Simmons. Simmons being tackled by Kelly and Brighton, and between them there was a bit of a tackle there on Milnes.
Number 17 went in and retrieves the ball, gets it back, plays it back towards the number 11. Kettering now need to push their lines out. They're playing very deep at the moment. That's a good bit of work there for Marcus Kelly to Lyndon Meikle. Meikle gets past one before barging into Gowling. But now it's Ben Milnes pushing forward now. He looks up. He goes back into the middle of the park. Connor Kennedy is there. Gary Storr is free on this near side. He does get the ball. He can now advance forward into some space. Plays the ball, chips it in, and that's a poor ball in. It goes straight towards the
just
near
what you
post.
don't want at this stage of the game with applying the pressure. Put in a floating shot like that for the goalkeeper to pick cherries all day like that, couldn't he? And all that work from Kettering gone down the pan with that delivery. As Hall gets the ball back and towards Simmons, being marshalled by Luke Graham. Luke Graham wins that back to Storer. He pumps it forward, but it goes straight to Gowling. Gowling plays it out, but only towards Kelly. Kelly's got Meikle with him. Meikle now on the left-hand side. He's got the overlapping Brighton if he wants to use him. He doesn't. It's still Meikle with the ball. He puts the ball towards Kelly. It's a nothing ball.
Well, James Brighton to the left of him was unmarked. Could have got the ball there. Could have advanced.
He didn't advance forward, did he? He just stopped on his tracks.
Yeah.
Brighton's certainly not the player that he was, and should have probably done a little better with that advantage gone as Hall winds down the clock even further. It's going to be harsh on Kinnanborough and Graham if this does remain 1-0 to Hereford, as the team has done, I think, really quite well this afternoon. They've shown a lot more spirit, a lot more drive, more character, and they haven't given up. There's still time to go, as somebody said. Only it takes a minute to score a goal or a second, as Hereford made their third substitution. It's Jason Pope coming on. He's going to replace Rowan Liebird, so that's all each. And it's going to be Brandon Hall who eventually will get us back underway. All the players on the halfway line except Paul White and Brandon. And there's Aaron O'Connor just going into the dugout. Been down there. It's Hall then. Time marching on. Can Kettering get the miracle? Can they get something out of this game? They deserve it. And Jay Williams wins the header towards Luke Graham. Luke Graham square towards Brighton. Brighton has to hook it though, as Ash was bearing down on him. There's Enty and Connor. Enty wins it, gets it towards Meikle. Meikle can't get the ball through.
Couldn't thread it through, could he?
Mitford was there, and Simmons miles offside, and nothing given by the linesman there. Gets the ball back to Ash. Ash does well. Puts it on the byline, comes in, free header, but Brighton gets the ball away, only towards the number 15 who just come on here, but loses it.
Milnes.
Ben Milnes now to Meikle. Meikle's only got Mitford up front as Kelly's going to overlap. In comes Ben Milnes as well, and Engy on the far side. Here comes Mitford. Mitford inside the penalty area, turns. Still Mitford with it. Gets the ball, but can't get it to Meikle, and Hereford get the ball away with Nicholson. Nicholson turns Kennedy, plays the ball out here to Ash. Ash on this wing, plays it out wide, plays it back. It comes in. Simmons gets there, turns.
Great work there from Jay Williams.
Yeah, he turned in, didn't he? But Williams won that, and the ball is now with Kelly on the far side. He plays it to Ben Milnes. Milnes advances into the Hereford half. Not far though, runs into trouble, plays it out wide to Brighton. Brighton plays it back to Connor Kennedy. Kennedy back to Williams. Williams now advances forward. It's still in Kettering's half though now. It's back into the Hereford half. A little flick on there to Meikle. Meikle, not a lot on for him. It's a poor ball.
Well,
And,
I think he was again trying to
I
hope
think-
that NT was going to zone in there and be able to run onto that. Unfortunately,
And
he
he didn't read it, did he? And all the movement there goes to pieces as time is ebbing on here. There's about a minute or so to go, plus time added on, which there'll be a customary 2 or 3 minutes, I would have thought, as Simmons loses out to Luke Graham, who's had a great game today. Luke Graham, assistant manager. Ball on the far side with Thomas. Long ball down, Simmons and Graham with it. This time Graham wins again, but it goes only towards the number 8, Owen Evans. Yeah, Owen Evans gets the ball out on the far side to Nicholson. He's going to play one. He might go and waste some time down by the corner flag, as they do these days. He's been chased by Ben Milnes. Indeed, that's what he's doing. And he goes down there and rather fortunately gets a free kick.
Yeah, he gets the free kick, doesn't he? So, a free kick for Hereford in a very attacking area here. It's Jordan Nicholson who gets the Hereford Man of the Match award.
Well, he's played well. It's a good goal, wasn't it? You can't deny that. He struck it well. It was a top right-hand corner job, and he's caused a few problems down that other side. I think Gowling in the first half played exceptionally well for Hereford, not so much in the second half. Kettering got a few man of the match. We'll have to discuss that on the way home, who we think. It comes off Brighton for another Hereford throw as some of the spectators now begin to leave to get out of here early doors, as the ground is in the centre of Hereford. If you've not been, 4 minutes of added time. We've just seen the
still some time
sign
to
go
go.
up. Yeah, still time to go. If there is a God, then he needs to show himself now, as Ben Milnes wins that. He's then fouled, and the referee has given it.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't play the advantage there, because the ball went away straight
So
away.
one final push as Ash tries to get the ball to waste time, but Connor Kennedy intercepts ball with Paul White. Kettering fans on the far side praying that their team will get one more decent chance and ram the ball into the net. Paul White with this free kick pumps it in towards Mitford. Loses it out though to the number 4. Ben Milnes wins it back. It's hooked away by the Hereford defender towards Simmons, who's been quite a handful since he came on. Jay Williams gets the ball to Kelly on the far side. Kelly, and it comes off a
Wins
Hereford.
a throw, doesn't he? Yeah.
He does. He's done well there. He left it for Brighton. Kelly goes forward. Brighton plays it back towards, like a foul throw again to me, but
Awful throw, wasn't it?
awful throw from him. But he gets the ball to Luke Graham. Luke Graham, a little sidestep there, does well, plays it out wide to Storer. Storer, he's got Meikle with him. Here's Meikle. Kettering going forward. Here comes Connor Kennedy outside the penalty area. Now he's running down the side here and cut out by
Came off Connor Kennedy.
Connor Kennedy, being marshalled by my man of the match for Hereford. Gowling, I'll give Gowling it. I think he's had more of the game than Nicholson, although he did score the wonder goal. That's 1 minute of added time gone, so 3 to go as the Hereford fans getting rather tense. This will be their second victory at home. They've drawn all the others. They beat Gateshead 2-1 in the league. They did beat Truro 5-2 in the FA Cup though. And it is Kettering's Jay Williams getting the ball to Enty. Enty manhandled off it, and that should be a throw into Kettering. It is. And Russell Slade not happy with the decision, but it's a throw-in. Storer with it.
Yeah, Kettering needs to get on with this now.
They do. They can't waste too much time as Luke Graham turns, squares it to Williams, who's been very impressive for his first game for the Poppies. Plays it out wide to Brighton. Brighton now is just over the halfway line, but got a nosebleed. Plays it back. Milnes plays it towards Kelly. Kelly will do well to keep this in. And it's been headed out. He's got a throw in out of it. Yep, that's Callum Thomas who puts it out down by the corner flag. Kettering going to have one more at least chance to get something in that penalty area. Can Mitford score on his debut? That would be a good one. Joel Carter was the last to do that this season against Telford. It's going to be a throw in here. It's going to be Connor Kennedy to take this. It's going to be a long throw in. He's on the boards at the back. In it comes now towards the centre. There's Galley underneath it. Headed out and hooked away by Hereford as panic stations set in. It's a throw in. Referee looks at his
long throw again, hopefully.
It is. Referee looks at his arm. It's another long throw. Kennedy racing over to take this. Time and seconds ebbing on. The Kettering fans deciding to not leave at the moment, as it is a good position. In comes a throw from Connor Kennedy, and that should be a Kettering Town corner. It is.
Indeed.
So pressure from Kettering. Paul
White's going
has
up.
been told to go up. Well, he may as well lose 2-0 or get the equaliser. It doesn't really matter, does it, for Paul White? He's gone up. So every Kettering player in the Hereford half as we're into the last few seconds of this first half. It's Kelly with it. Needs to be a good one from Kelly. In it comes towards the back post, and the header goes out,
wide.
and it's wide of the post there. And I think that was Connor Kennedy. Anything on target would have put the goalkeeper under pressure, and I would say, Matt, that is about it.
Yeah, that's surely going to be time. The referee is telling the Hereford players just to hurry up as Kettering sort of make their way back towards the halfway line. And it's going to be hard to take for Kettering today, because they've actually upped their performance. It's been a lot more positive. We've seen a lot more positives from this Poplars team than what we've seen in many games this season so far. The goal kick is taken by Hall, and there's Williams again, heads it forward to Trey Mitford. He loses out. James Brighton advances, plays it over the top. Enty across towards Ben Milnes, who is sandwiched there, but it's now with Marcus Kelly. Not the best of control from Kelly. He has to play it back towards Brighton. Brighton plays it long into the box, too far past Connor Kennedy, and the ball's bounced around. Players chasing after this, and it's with the number 17 of Hereford who clears the ball, and there goes the final whistle here at Edgar Street. It finishes Hereford FC 1, Kettering 0. Disappointing, Paul, just because of how much better Kettering played in this game.
Well, it took a wonder goal, didn't it, to beat Kettering. Will be very disappointed with that. They played, as you say, exceptionally well. There was a different looking Kettering Town team that came out today, playing in front of a large crowd, and it showed there was more commitment, there was more style, and Luke Graham goes over to applaud as James Brighton do, the travelling fans, as some of the other Kettering players do. There's Carter as well. It is disappointing, but it's a much assured performance. Kettering have got 12 days now to regroup, get things working out, and if Luke Graham and Steve Kinneberry in particular do go on for the next 12 days, then they will do well. Next game is Spenamore at Latimer Park, but from Matt Spearman and myself, we're going to go and try and get a word with Steve, which we'll put on the website a little later this evening, hopefully, or tomorrow morning at least. But from Matt Spearman and myself, it's good afternoon from Edgar Street. Goodbye.